Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. This evening, I'd like to talk about another one of my really nice knives. I know I talk a lot about, I'm constantly saying how I love this knife, and this knife is great, and this, that, it's fantastic, best ever. I do have some knives that I really don't like, and I will get into those, but I'm talking about the good ones first. When I run out of these, which I'm getting dangerously low on, I'll start talking about the ones that I really don't like so much. So tonight, I want to talk about the ZT0640 CPM 20CV titanium liner lock ish. It's really more of a frame lock, but it's got these insert scales on them that makes it work more like a liner lock. Carbon fiber scales, Ernest Emerson design, ZT production, thumb disc opening. Again, just a really fantastic knife. We're probably all aware at this point that I am just kind of this Emerson fanboy. So just about anything, excuse me, anything that Mr. Emerson has made or designed, I would like to have it within my collection, or at least some representative of it. So I'm to a point where I'm really content with where I'm at with his collab knives, that I'm really just getting myself prepared to start buying his production knives. But for now, we're going to talk about ZT0640. This is an incredibly smooth action. I haven't messed with the pivots at all, and to be honest with you, I don't really play with this one too much, so the more I just keep doing stuff like this, the more it's going to eventually break in and just get nicer and nicer and nicer. Like I said, 20 CV, great steel, probably the 20 CV is the same steel as M390 and CT, was it CT204P, CTS 204P. They are all the same steel, just through different manufacturers. 20 CV is a fantastic steel. I just now realized there's a serial number on this. Hang on. 698. It was one off. When I was in the military, I was in a submarine called the USS Jacksonville. It was 699. All right. I'm going to compare it to the Bug Out. As we can see, this is an exceptionally long blade. I think we can all agree that it's going to be substantially bigger than the Weak. And then the Tenacious. So it's a big knife. We'll get some measurements here. As I clean up my mess. This knife is just a skosh over 8.5 inches total overall length, about 8.55 inches overall length. Looks like 3.75 inches from tip to scale on the blade length, and I would say 3.6 inches cutting edge. Get a weight. It's a relatively light knife considering it's mostly titanium and carbon fiber, but it does have a really thick blade stock to it, so we'll go ahead and get a weight on it. 4.4 ounces. So this is by no means a small knife. This is another one of those knives, much like the Spyderco Magnitude, where it's just too nice to me to really be a regular user, but it's a little too big to be like a gentleman's carry. It's a large knife, but it does fill because of it's got a slim carry profile. It does lend itself as a gentleman's carry. It's a little thicker. I don't know how well we can see that. It's a little thicker than the Tenacious with the micarta scales anyway. But man, it's just a really razor sharp, really nice knife, and premium materials, titanium, carbon fiber, 20 CV. This is just an amazing knife. The one that I would compare it to, well, I talked about it when I talked about this other knife initially. I compared these two. The best comparison for it is Spyderco Gale Bradley. And as you can see from my previous video, I actually put the micarta scales on the Gale Bradley. These two knives are very similar in blade length, overall length. The Gale Bradley having M4, also razor sharp, and also a liner lock. These actions are really quite similar, but both of these knives come in at a very similar price point. I did manage to get this one new off of Blade HQ on a Black Friday sale, and it actually, this knife suggested retail price is usually around the $250 to $260 range, and I got it on sale for substantially less than that. But yeah, because of my affinity towards Ernest Emerson and the known quality that is ZT, this really is one of my, I guess I would call it one of my prized possessions, one of a precious few knives that I own that I am in no position right now to ever decide I want to carry it. It's just, it's too nice to me. Now, this is something akin to what Metal Complex said in his video today. You know, it's really up to the user however they want to use their knives. I completely agree with that. But he also did say that when he was getting into knives, you know, to him a $50 knife was outrageously expensive, and he would never carry a $100 knife because, you know, he didn't want to damage it. Well, as he got newer knives and he started to carry fancier knives and nicer knives, he found that he could not go back to the cheaper knives. And I'm starting to come into that myself. And, you know, I've got several budget knives that I just, like, I carry them a few times, I carry them for a week, whatever, and then I realize that I just don't want to carry that anymore. And then I keep coming back to stuff like this, and stuff like this. And, I mean, there's exceptions because these two are still technically budget knives, but I keep coming back to stuff like this, and I'm wanting to carry it more and more just because it's just a really nice knife. Does that mean I'll ever carry this? Maybe, maybe not. For now, it's going to fulfill a role in my collection. Ooh, it's going to fulfill its role in my collection as a gentleman's carry. What I will say, and this is just kind of a heads up. I don't know, a heads up. I don't know. It's a weird thing to say. This is kind of something I'm gonna get into in the very near future. Is I've been working on a couple of little projects, and I was expecting the last part of it to come in the mail today, and it did not, which is disappointing. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get those things in the mail today, and I can start my Chinese knife comparison videos, and which kind of leads into the quest for what I consider to be Excalibur, and the Tenacious is also going to be it's another little side project I've been kind of working on. That's also going to come up very soon, and I'll explain the reasoning behind these things as I'm making the videos. As I proceed in the future, I'll bring things like this back into the fold, just to show, I've decided to change the scales on the Gale Bradley. As much as I like the texturing on that carbon fiber, which is similar to this actually, for a knife this size with M4 steel, this has to be a user, and these scales, I love the look of these scales, I love the feel of these scales, and with these scales and that steel at this blade size, this becomes a much more viable option as a user than it was with the carbon fiber. So, ZT0640, Emerson design, ZT manufactured, CPM 20 CV, 3.5 inch blade. Was it 3.5? Is that what I said it was? 3.5 inch blade, carbon fiber scales, carbon fiber titanium scales. Yeah, 3.5. Oh, hang on. Let me check that again. 3.75 inch blade. Sorry. 3.75 inch blade, carbon fiber titanium scales, 20 CV blade, thumb disc, titanium liner lock, Emerson design, ZT production. This pocket clip's a bit wonky, but whatever. Really fantastic knife. All right. You guys have any questions? Leave them down in the comments below. Y'all have a great night.